Hey friend, it is Kate here. Thank you so much for joining me for day 4 of our New Year's challenge. Now, it is day 4, so you've missed a couple of days. If you're new here, you can always go back to the first day and start over. There'll be a little link at the top if you're interested in that. If you are new here as well, there is a free, lovely little journal that goes along with our challenge. You're welcome to look in the description below and find the journal. You can download it. It's free. It's nice to kind of check it off, and it gives you some additional information. But today's class is going to be a foam rolling class, a wonderful class to open up our chest or upper body. Perhaps you've noticed, but this week we've been focusing on the upper body, and so it's nice to give ourselves a little love, a little attention. I do have a longer foam roller, one of the 36-inch long ones. If you don't have one and you've got a shorty, that's okay for this class today. If you don't have a foam roller at all, I'll put a link to the one that I use below if that's helpful to you at all. But today's class is really just meant to give some attention, some love to our shoulders, our chest, our neck, and hopefully help our posture feel a little bit better. Anywho, roll out your mat, grab your foam roller, let's get started. Let's just start in a nice easy seat. Whatever feels best for you, have your foam roller handy. If you don't have one, I probably said this in the description, but in the show notes, whatever you want to call those, I'll put a little link to the one that I use. I particularly like the long ones. You get a little more versatility with them than the shorties. Anywho, sit up tall, sit up straight, and let's really purposefully roll our shoulders. Now, when you roll your shoulders, you could just kind of like roll them around and find some movement, but I want you to take them as far forward, as far up, as far back, and as far down. So in all directions, we're really actively moving our shoulders in the biggest circle that we possibly can. You might even feel some kind of crinkles or cracks or pops. I'm not a physical therapist or a physician. I've always been told pops and kind of sensations are fine as long as they're not painful and as long as those kind of things stop when you stop the action. Take your circles in the other direction. If you're stretching deeply or you're doing myofascial release and you get some of those really big tingles and the tingles continue after you stop, then you do want to talk to someone, but hopefully that's not happening right now. Pause wherever you're at, and I want you to drop your right ear to right shoulder. Lift your left ear high, press your left shoulder down, and reach your left hand away from your body. Now, if this is enough, stay here. If you want to, you can drape your hand over your head. Now, I am not yanking on my head at all. My hand is just there as a little added weight. I'm almost pushing my head up into my arm as I reach my left hand further away. Inhale, take your hand up. Exhale, push the heel of the hand down towards the ground. Inhale, reach the hand up. Exhale, bring it down. One more time, lift. Bring it down, pause, take a great big breath, and then point your nose down towards your armpit. Hug your chin into your chest a little. It's almost like you're trying to touch your chin to your clavicle and reach longer through the back of the neck. Relax both hands to your thighs. Roll your chin to chest. Bring your gaze upright. Same thing, other side. Bring the ear over, reach the hand away, and then drape your hand over your head. Now, we might, again, stay right here. Maybe it's enough just to think of pushing your ear up to the sky, pushing the heel of your hand down to the ground. Or maybe we start to reach our hand up and down. I almost envision that someone is holding onto my wrist and they're physically pulling it away from my body the entire time that I'm here. One more time. Bring it down, pause, take a big breath. And then drop your nose down towards kind of your armpit and tuck the chin into the chest a little bit more. And then relax the hands, relax the chin, bring your gaze upright. I already feel a little bit more awake after that. We're going to grab our foam roller. With our foam roller, I want us to, I already have it right in place, but I want you to put your foam roller at the edge of your mat. See, I've made a little triangle along the edge of my mat. The foam roller is pointing in towards my body and away from my hips. That's on purpose. We're going to lie on our side and bring the foam roller into the place where your armpit and back kind of meet. Now, this is a surprising spot for some people. Some of us out there might not feel anything when we lie here, and a few of us will probably be making faces at me from home, and that's okay. Remember, you can always pause if you need to. Personally, I like to take my hand behind my head, giving my neck a little support. Pretend there's something big and heavy in your right hand, and then reach your hand away and pick up your heavy object, and then drop it right back down to the ground. Pick it up, drop it right back down. Now, if you're not feeling a lot of sensation or anything at all, you might play with angling your foam roller a little more or a little less away from your body. You might roll it a little further up or down, or it could just be that you're not that tight. We don't hold a lot of tension there, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Reach your hand up, pause. Actively reach your fingertips away. Again, you're still holding something heavy, so our muscles are turned on, and I want you to circle your hand around a little bit. Circle it around in the other direction. And then drop the hand down. Take a moment, and I want you to lean back, looking up to the sky, and then lean forward, curling your body in towards the foam roller. Let the portion of your body that's touching the foam roller really just kind of melt onto it. So instead of rolling the foam roller, we're moving our body. It can be a little bit more gentle. You have more control over it that way. Now this next time, look up to the sky and pause. Now perhaps we stay right here, or if you want to, you can drop your feet onto the ground and pick up your hips. It might be enough just to pick up your hips, so we're putting more of our weight into the foam roller. You can also slide your body so the foam roller comes underneath your shoulder and then back into the armpit. That might be too much for some of us. That's okay. Once or twice is usually enough for me, and then I set my hips down and relax. Go ahead and push yourself up, and we'll bring our foam roller to our second side. So again, I'm making a triangle at the front corner of the mat, and I'm going to bring the foam roller into the place where my armpit and back meet. Arrive on your foam roller and let yourself settle. Already we might notice something different. Something has changed from one side to the other. It's okay. Again, you can take your hand behind your head if that gives you a little more support. And then pretend you've got something heavy in your object. Pick up your heavy thing and drop it down. Lift up, drop it down. A couple of times at your own pace, lifting and lowering. Just sending the hand up nice and high, bringing it down. Reaching it up and down at your own pace. Now this next time, lift the hand up, pause, reach your fingertips nice and far away, take your circles. And again, we might see something really different from one side to the other. You can reverse your circles. For me personally, my right side today was holding so much more tension than my left. And that maybe just means I was doing more on one side the past couple of days. Who knows? Maybe I slept funny. Pause and set the hand down on the ground. Now look up to the sky, lean back, and then curl forward, lean towards the foam roller. Take it at your own pace, back and forth. Now this time, look up to the sky and pause. If you want to stomp into your feet, lift your hips. Maybe that's enough, or maybe you want to pull the foam roller underneath the shoulder blade and then back into the armpit. Underneath the shoulder blade and back into the armpit. One more time. And then set the hips down and go ahead and come back up to a seat. Now we're going to get across our chest a little bit using the side of our foam roller. If you've got a great big long one like me, it can feel a little funky. This one is a little easier with the shorties, I suppose, but I'm going to turn this way so you can see me. We're going to use the lip of the foam roller to get across the top of our chest. Now how close it is to your clavicle or how far down you have it on your chest is really what feels best for you. But I usually start with it maybe a few inches underneath like my collarbone, and I give it a little hug, and it's right underneath the very kind of like right where that collarbone is. And I give it a little hug and a little squeeze, and then I'm just going to pass it, and I'm going to move my mic for a moment from one side to the other. So as I kind of hug, I push down, and I just give the top of my chest a little massage. This is a spot that for a lot of us, especially women, I think that we kind of forget about, and it can be really surprising how much the front of our chest needs some attention, some care. I will admit, this is a place that feels really good to me. I could hang out here for probably another 20 minutes, but I won't make you watch me do foam rolling that long. So if you want to stay there longer, go for it, because I would. But otherwise, we're going to keep moving on. Bring the foam roller behind you. This we do not have to feel pretty or graceful for at all, so no big deal. But take the foam roller behind your shoulder blades, open your elbows wide, and lean back. Now you can play with how close it is to the top of your shoulders or how far it is underneath the shoulder blades, but I do not want it underneath your low back. We obviously are getting a little bit of a stretch, kind of an arch through the low back, and if that feels nice, that is just an added plus. But really from here, for me, this is about supporting the upper portion of my back so I can really fan open through the front portion of my chest. Now personally, I keep my hands behind my head here the entire time. It feels really extreme to me to let my head lean back, but some people like that, and if you have that range of motion, you of course are welcome. But from here, all I want us to do is sway our head right and left. And now do you see, as I take my head from the right to the left, I'm not lifting it up. It's staying in the same kind of plane. I'm just leaning over to one side and back. It's like I'm making my body like a little candy cane. Do you see the difference that I'm doing this versus like if I was curling up over to one side? So it's not a curl up, it's a nice side body stretch. Now do make your way back to center and let your head fall a little further into your hands. Close the eyes, relax for a moment, take a big inhale. And now as you exhale, do lift the head and chest up, looking forward. And then lean back again. Curl it up. Lean back. Now this definitely looks like some giant crunch I'd make you do in one of my Pilates classes, but it's not really about that. I'm really just letting the foam roller gently roll across the back of my shoulder blades. This time, curl up and pause. If you want to, stomp your feet into the floor and lift the hips up. Just like when it was underneath our armpits, this might feel too much for some of us, and that's okay. We will not pull the foam roller closer to our butt, but you can pull it up towards the top of your neck and then back underneath the shoulder blades. So we bring it up towards the neck and then down underneath the shoulder blades. And again, this is one of my favorite places. I can just hang out and watch TV like this at the end of the night. But eventually we'll set our hips down and we're going to take the foam roller so it's right underneath just the very top of your head. Your legs can really do whatever feels best. You could open them wide, feet together, knees apart. You could plant the feet on the floor, whatever feels best for you. But from here, you're definitely going to feel like you're giving yourself a double chin. Who cares what we look like? I'm sure I do not look attractive right now at all, and that's okay because it feels so good just to dip my chin into my chest. I'm really focusing on opening up across the very top of my neck. Eyes can be open or closed. You might stay right here totally still, or we could point our nose lightly right and left. You could circle the nose around too. Both directions. And then pause. Maybe tuck the chin in just a little bit more. Close the eyes. A little tip, if this is helpful to know, when I feel like I have a headache or a migraine coming on, I will often lay on my foam roller just like this, and I cannot tell you how good it feels and how very often it kind of relieves the headache or migraine. And if you want to stay here a little longer, you absolutely can, because it does feel delightful, but eventually you can roll to one side, push yourself up to a seat. As always, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I hope you enjoyed our wonderful foam rolling class today, giving our upper body a little love. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow for day 5, and I am so proud that you made it here today on day 4 with me. See you soon.